to 1950's farm. So what are we doing today? Well, today we are carrying on with the ploughing. Now, we might not get this ploughing finished in this episode, and I will pre-warn anyone now that's not keen on the chatty videos, this is going to be a chatty video. I said in the last episode of Britons that I had a story that I wanted to tell you about what happened on the new farm, and I thought, well, seeing as we're ploughing, it kind of fits what the story's about. So I thought, therefore, it seemed right to do it now. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do some ploughing while we talk about ploughing, because the two stories are about ploughing. So, firstly, I hope everyone's okay. And I hope you're all having a good day. And, you know, things are not going too bad. Mustn't grumble today. Mustn't grumble. We're doing alright. I don't know why I had to say that in a funny voice for, but, you know, it's sort of justified in my head, so decided to do it. But yeah, so as I say, we crack on with this, and then as I say, this is going to be drilled wheat, and once we get this finished, we'll get the tractors in here with the cultivators on the back and get that pulled down, and then as I say, we've got a new drill coming. I'm hoping it's going to be here before we drill the wheat, otherwise it's going to be a long time. To be fair, actually, I love sitting here in these big fields with this small equipment, just like the ploughing. Honestly, absolutely adore it. Just, you know, love it. So although I make it sound like a chore, believe me, it isn't. I absolutely love it. So yeah, it's a good thing. But yeah, so it's not bad. So I had a message, an email the other day after the last episode that went out, which would have been Monday, and the Hill family got in touch with me again, which I say is amazing. I just can't believe it. It's so surreal that here I am doing a computer game on this family, and this family are in sort of you know, chats with me and what have you, and you know, are very keen, you know, to sort of know what's coming, and then advise, you know, and say, well, actually no, that's not quite right, or, you know, yeah, we did say that, but that's not exactly how it was. Which, you know, I just find that, I hope we're still on the line, because you don't really want to be taking your eye off the line. I'm not on the line. Darn it, now I don't know which line it was, so we'll have to just ride the middle, and now we've gone wrong. Oh. The fact that the tractor is leaning, oh. I've been doing it straight all the way across, and now I've cocked it. Honestly, never mind. Or cocked it up, I should say. Yeah, so as I say, but I was talking in the last episode about silage on the dairy, and excuse me, and I haven't forgotten as well that I am going to look that up, but I usually have a day in the week where I have my sort of research days and doing my odd job days and different things like that, because as I say, you know, my schedule is very tight and very rigid, and I have to stick to it, otherwise it drives me mental. So that usually leaves me a Friday every week to kind of do other stuff, as in go off and do other stuff, but to do stuff related to either my YouTube channel or, you know, other like correspondence with, you know, so like the Hill family and that, you know, and then I was sort of saying about the silage and the fact that it's been around before Christ and that, but I will look all that up to actually give you the absolute proper information, because I'm kind of running a little bit from memory there, and I really have got this breed up. Oh, and it's just started raining. Well, that's nice on an open bloody tractor, isn't it? Honestly, in 1950s, there's a cine video of my granddad on a cat. Is it a DB9? I think that's what they were. Ploughing, and it was in December, and they were ploughing because the snow was on the ground, and it was an open cab one. And he sat there in this cine video. He sat there with, he said he had 3 t-shirts on, 2 jumpers, a really thin sort of coat, and then a really thick sort of overcoat over the top of that. Then he had blankets wrapped all around him, like up, sort of along his chest and over his knees and down to his sort of feet. He had like 3 pairs of socks on, and then tarpaulin wrapped around all of that, because obviously tarpaulin would be waterproof, whereas his blankets wouldn't have been waterproof. So he then had tarpaulin wrapped all around him, and yeah, he was out from sort of 7 in the morning till 4 at night ploughing in sort of all kinds of weather. He said, like, whether it be snowing or whether it be raining or whatever. He said, but that was how I used to do the ploughing. He said I used to have all of that clobber on to try and keep a little bit warm. And I said, did it work? And he went, nope. He said, by the time I got home, I couldn't feel my hands. And I said, did you, the car must have had heat air? And he sort of looked at me and went, car? And I went, yeah. I said, like, obviously you went to work in a car. He was like, no, I went to work on my bike. I was like, Jesus. So I said, like, not only was you frozen all day, like, work, he went, yeah. He said, oh, I used to go to work on my bike. And I was like, crikey. I said, well, how far was that? And he said, well, it's not far, is it? And I said, well, no. I said, but it's not far in a car. I said, but, to me, it feels like forever biking it. And he said, like, nah. He goes, it's only 10-15 minutes on a bike. He said, it's not far. I said, yeah, but like then with all the wind and everything, Grandad. I said, like, I said, why didn't you get a car? He goes, oh, I couldn't bloody afford it, boy. That's why. Oh dear, but yeah, happy times. But yeah, so the Hill family have been in touch and said actually the dairy did do a bit of silage before the 1960s, but it was the 1960s where they did it properly. And so they said, like, if you do decide to do it before the 1960s, in a way you're not wrong, but in a way you are wrong, because it was not something that, it was something they did if they had the time, and if sort of because I don't really know what to say. Is it like kind of if they had the time to do it, or whatever, like, but so yeah, whether we do actually go on to do it or not, I don't know. I might do. I don't know whether to plough this straight crossed and either hope that the plough somehow magically reaches, or just come back and fill it in so that it's straight. Or I'll tell you what, if the plough's going to reach, I'll keep on that line. Yeah, so as I say, like, quite if I can get away with this. Yeah, so that was kind of what they were doing. But yeah, no, it's nice that, as I say, they got in touch, and they're sort of advising and pointing me in the right direction, and because they've said, like, well, by this stage we had this tractor, and it's like, yeah, I know. Unfortunately, yes, Farming Sim does have a tractor, an alias Chalmers, but I can't find one that doesn't kill the game and have loads of errors in it. Every one I've downloaded has got a lot of errors in it, and it conflicts with like other stuff and what have you, so I'm just not using them. So yeah, like that's I don't know whether it's still in there actually. Just really quickly, I don't normally come into the thingy. Let's have a look. So they got that one as well, but that one's a bit later according to a bit of research that I did. No, I've not. I don't think I've got it in unless it's in medium track. No, it's not. So no, I haven't got it in. I've taken it out because, as I say, that and the Oliver that they had as well. Excuse me, both very error prone. So that's why they're not in the mod folder. But yeah, as I say, but still nice that they get in touch, and as I say, it's a bit of a privilege, really. You do a save about some real people, and then these people get in touch, and say that I'm doing a good job, and I'm representing them in a good light and quite accurately. So it's really nice. So all the research that I kind of did way back when, back in sort of January when I started doing the research for this series. No, it might even have been last year actually. It might have even been October, November time when I started. I'd been doing research for a good sort of 2 months before I actually released the first episode to make sure that I wasn't doing anybody an injustice. Sorry. So yeah. Anyway, on to me funny stories. Now, the only reason I'm doing it is because, like I said in the last episode, I would do it, and also as well, quite a few people have commented and said, love the farming stories, love the fact that you tell us stuff about yourself and what have you, and that's the only reason why I'm doing it. But so, as you know, working on the first farm, and then farm manager of the second farm comes along, is watching me on the end of the field. And then after probably a good half hour, 45 minutes or so, watching me on the end of the field, comes into the field. Can I have a ride? No, sorry, we don't give strangers a ride. I'm sorry, let me introduce myself. Tells me who he is. And for some reason I believed him. Because he could have just been saying that. But so I let him have a ride. And offers me a job. Now, from him offering me a job to me actually going, I can't remember exactly the time. It was a good month or two. It's at least a month because I would have had to work there. I would have had to have worked my notice, and it caused a bit of a furore because I think the farm I was on kind of felt they could use me as and how they saw fit, and as it turned out, they were paying me nowhere near what I was entitled to, which I didn't know that at the time. And the second farm actually helped me to get reimbursed for everything that I'd been underpaid. They really helped me a lot. But yeah, so as I say, like there was a period, and as I say, the first farm thought they could do as they sort of pleased, and they used to shove me in the garden a lot, and sort of hoe the flower beds, and yeah, I wasn't interested in that. If I was interested in that sort of stuff, I'd have been a landscaper, and earned some proper money at it, I wanted to be a tractor driver, that was what I wanted to be. I wanted to be a tractor driver, and I wanted to be a good tractor driver too. And so the fact that they kind of, in a way, I felt insulted me by putting me in the garden, like, really did annoy me. And then there was the incident with the animal, the cow pipe for the water troughs, which I've told you in a previous episode, where they asked me to basically, with a pickaxe and a shovel, to break the concrete, sort of dig through rubble, quite deep rubble, and then eventually get to the pipe, and then fix the pipe, and then fill it all back in again. The sort of there were a lot of things that were happening in a very short period of time that kind of helped me in the end make my decision that I made. So I agreed to go over to the farm. So I gets over to the farm. Day number 1. And it says nice and easy. You go rolling behind the drill. So you follow the drill wherever the drill goes, and you're rolling. Keep a breed or two behind, and make sure you're always going out of the field with the rolls, with the drill, and sort of doing your rolling. So fair enough. So day 1 was a really easy day at work. and who I was working with, Robert, really cool man, really helped, and what have you, and we got on really well from minute one, and that was a big help because I get very nervous, and I really was very nervous about working there because they were sort of 10 times the size of what I'd been used to. So as I say, the fact that the first sort of bloke that I'd come across, other than the farm manager, was really good and friendly, and at dinner time we sort of he because they had CBs in their tractor, and he sort of said, look, come over to the Challenger. He said what we'll do is we'll ride down to the far end of the field and we'll sit up there and have dinner. He said, and then I'll just ride you back like to your rolls, like when we've had dinner. He said, but the reason I want to ride up there, he said, is because if Adrian comes, he said, then if we're the other end of the field, he won't bother us, he'll just drive on. He said, but if we're at the road end, he'll stop, and what he said, like, and I could be doing without that. So he said, we'll go down there. So anyway, that's what we did, and it was very good. Anyway, so a day or two later, Adrian comes to me and says, right, we've got a tractor and a plough on demo or on hire. So I said, right. He said, and we want you to use them. So I said, okay. So he said, we want you to go plough in some combining stubble. So I was like, fair enough. So he gives me a map of the fields, and I mean the farm is spread from sort of Terrington's and I'm really terrible with place names. Terrington's and Clements, is it? I think. All the way through to Sutton Bridge, all the way into Long Sutton, all the way through to Holbeach, all the way sort of halfway up towards Spalding, so about Moulton, somewhere like that, and then all the way across to on the way to Wisbech from Sutton Bridge, and Wisbech and Mary, Friday Bridge, right the way up to nearly March, not the month, the place. There's a place in Cambridgeshire called March, and all the way up to there. And so it was a big farm, so I'll get all these maps, and it's like, Jesus, and I'm like, I'm terrible at finding my way. I'm really shocking. Anyway, I'm in the farm at Sutton Bridge. That was my base, so I was in the Sutton Bridge team, okay, the arable team, right? But because I was I'm not going to say head ploughman, but I was because of, as Adrian, you say, because of your condition, because of everything we know about you, it's going to be mainly your job because it's the easiest job on the farm that we do, and so it's a job that you can do, and there's not a lot of work involved in terms of lifting and lugging and sort of different things like that. So it's a job that we know you can do, and you're quite good at it. So therefore, it's a job I want you to do, even if you wasn't, didn't have the condition that you've got. I'd still want you to do that because that's what I saw you doing, and you're good at it. And you only want your best players on the best positions, and your best position is ploughing. But it was it's really good. So anyway, gives me my fields, gives me sort of rough directions, right? I have no idea. Right, I know where Wisbech is. That's fine. I can get me and my Challenger to Wisbech. That's no problem. I know where that is. It's kind of looking at the field now. What I didn't sort of envisage was just how stupid I actually am. Which kind of I mean, it was an eye-opener even for me. And I was kind of like, I'm looking at this map, right? I'm looking at this map. I think, that's where I've got to go. I've got to go down there. I know where that is. And they've given me landmarks, to look for. And I'm like, yeah, I know where that is. Yeah, I know where that is. And I'm not being funny. I live in St James. Wisbech is only like sort of 6-7 miles down the road. I knew Wisbech, really well, right? As in the place, not fields, and who owns all the fields. I didn't know that really well. Anyway, I goes down there, right? So I gets to the field that I think I'm supposed to be in, right? It's a stubble field. It makes sense. And I'm like, yep, I'll I'll do it this way. Now I'm ploughing this field, right? It's my first day. I've never used GPS before. No one showed me how to use it. They're still sort of finishing off the combining. They're still, well, they're sort of just starting off tatey harvesting. Um, onions were sort of being, I can't remember if they were being finished off or whatever. So they were really busy, right? And obviously some of them were off drilling, to start getting the next year's crop in and what have you. So I'm off ploughing, right? It's stubble field, right? No one showed me how to use the GPS. So I've sort of, no problem. I'll just, what I call freehand ploughing. I'll just plough it myself. I thought, try and do a good job. And sort of go off. And I did a lovely job. And I'm not just saying that. I really did sort of do a really good job in there. And ploughed this field. Then it was miss a field, and then plough the next field. So I then ploughs, let's say, missed a field, then ploughed the next field, and then it was then miss, I think, about 4 fields, and then the next field was out. So I ploughed that one, not all in the one day, but some sort of going along. Anyway, Monday morning of the second week, we're in the sort of canteeny bit where Adrian would tell us where we were off and what we were doing and what have you. And he gets to the end and he says to me, he says, James, he says, can you stay behind so I can have a word, please? So I said, yeah. I thought, I'm in trouble already, So he says, ploughing you did last week. So I said, yeah. He said, fantastic. He said, absolutely brilliant job. Just wanted to say that. So, thank you very much. He said, one slight problem. I said, yeah. He said, we're in our field. I went, what do you mean it weren't in our field? He goes, all of the fields you ploughed? I said, yeah. He said, not our fields. I said I followed the map, and I got the map out because I had the folder with me because they give you a folder with all the maps in. And I went to the one with the map on, and I showed him, and he went, yeah. He said, I can kind of see what you're doing there. So I said, yeah. He goes, the map needs to be that way. And I was like, oh. It's like, he goes, that's where you've gone wrong. So I said, oh, right. I said, oh, bugger. I said, am I in big trouble? And he went, well, he said, all I'm going to say is, if you're not sure, please just ring and ask. He said, because you're new. So therefore, he said, you're not going to know every single thing. And if you ring me and ask me, yes, I'm very busy. Yes, I kind of appreciate that you were trying to use your own initiative and, you were trying to just sort of be self-sufficient and just get on. He said, which is very important in this job, actually. Yeah, we'll go that way. He said, it's very important in this job. And, he said, fair play to you for that. So I was like, right. He said, I've got to be honest, mate. He said, that's caused us a bit of a headache, that has, because the fields that you've ploughed, he said, luckily are all one farm. So I said, right. He said, so you've ploughed the field for one farmer. So I said, okay. So he said, he said, you think of it from our point of view. He said, that's diesel. We've paid you to, do that. We've not got no money for doing that. We've lost quite a bit of money. He said, and we're going to have to now compensate that farm because those fields this year were to be set aside. So that they got there, because at the time set aside was a big thing, and you got paid for it. And of course they wouldn't get paid for it now because I'd ploughed it. So the farm that I worked on had to pay them what they would have been paid and some compensation on top. So did that. Well, that's sort of the second week, that same week. I'm now in, I think I was in Moulton. And lo and behold, if I didn't go and do the bloody thing again, went and onto the wrong fields. This time I didn't plough multiple wrong fields. I was about 3/4 of the way through the field that I was in when the farmer whose field I was in luckily turned up with a plough. So at least I kind of got away with that one a little bit, because they were coming to plough it, and he goes, and he comes across to me, and I saw sort of stuck. So I thought, oh, I don't recognise that tractor. That's not one of ours. And because I thought we're not allowed to do ploughing with wheel tractors. So he walks across, and he climbs up onto the chair. He goes, "Who the beep 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 hell are you?" So I said, blah 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 from, he said, "The beep 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 are you doing ploughing our field?" I went, "Your field?" And he went, "Yeah." He goes, "Your fields are next door." Oops. Okay. I said, okay. I said, "Do you want me to finish it, or do you want me to bugger off?" He said, "Well, no." He said, "You might as well bloody finish it now." So I said, "I'm ever so sorry." I said, "I'm new." I said, and I said, "I'm having huge trouble sort of deciphering which is their fields and which isn't." And he goes, "Oh, I don't really care, to be fair." He said, "I'm not very happy now." So I was like, "Well," I said, "you were coming to plough it." I said, "In theory, I've saved you a job." Well, I always see the better of the situation. That's my motto. And he goes, "Yeah, but," he said, "that's not the point, is it?" He said, "The point is that you've done you're in the wrong field." He goes, "Imagine if, we, were leaving that set aside, or if we were doing something where we didn't want it, or if we were direct drilling it, or, whatever like that." I was like, "Yeah, I see your point." I said, "But no harm's been done, because in theory you're coming to plough it anyway." I said, "Why don't you go and start ploughing my field, and then I'll just take over when I finished your field." That didn't go down very well, that one. That comment did not go down very well at all. I was saying it a little bit in jest, a little bit, sort of light-heartedly, a little bit kind of, trying to relieve the tension of the situation, but no, it didn't go down very well. So I kind of left it. Anyway, now fast forward about between 4 or 5 years, and it's probably spring, I would say. No, and I'll tell you the reason why is because, yeah, it would have been autumn again. We've got some new fields, all right, and I'm told the farm, because we used to rent quite a bit of land as well as own land. We used to also rent sort of land as well, and I'm told that the fields that we've rented, the farmer before we rented them had cultivated them, right, and they wanted me to go and plough them because they'd done the soil tests and they wanted it ploughing and what have you. Fair enough. So again, maps have all been updated, or just that area has been updated, obviously, to accommodate those fields. Fair enough. So Adrian says, "I'm going on holiday for 2 weeks." I said, "Fair enough." He said, he said the others they were a long way away. So I was in Moulton, or in and around Moulton, and the others were quite a way away. And he said, "So no one's going to be coming and checking on you?" So I said, "Okay, fair enough." So he said, I need you to tell me that you understand what fields you're going in, because this was an on-running sort of joke now. Every time we got new fields, this is, what used to get said to me, Oh, yeah, I know. So he's like, "Okay," so fair enough. So off I goes, ploughs the fields. Well, anyway, ploughed the fields. Again, sort of did a decent job. Yes, I was using GPS, so, of course I was doing a decent job, but yeah, so I did it all right, and went off then, because I'd been given like a sheet of all the fields that I was due to plough, and from when I'd ploughed those 4 fields, I was then due to go back towards sort of Holbridge area and start ploughing cauliflower land that had been, some of it had been picked, but the rest of it, the cauliflowers had gone to flower. The heads had started flowering, so they wanted them ploughing in, and we'd allowed the sheep to graze it and what have you, and so they'd sort of cleared most of it, but I sort of had to go and sort of plough it. So no problem. You know, there was 4 or 5 fields. They were in fields that I knew were ours, you know, because I'd obviously worked those fields a lot. Goes off, plows them. You know, gets my next week's sort of sheet, you know, and this is the week that Adrian's due back, but he's not due back till the Wednesday. Gets my next sheet on more cauliflower land, so goes off. It does that. Wednesday morning, again in the canteen, pretty much a a deja vu moment of the very first time that I'd done it. Adrian says, "Can you stay behind, please?" I said, "Yeah." So he says, like, you know, he says, you know, good work, you know, we've been to the collie land and what have you, you know, gonna need you at the end of this week, probably Thursday, Friday, maybe even Saturday, to go with the power and work in front of the planters again. He said, because they're going to second crop it. So I said, okay, or double crop it. So I said, okay. So he said, like, and if you could pull down, he said, just because, you know, we've got 1 or 2 other people sort of elsewhere. So I said, yeah. He said, and obviously we've got 1 or 2 of you off on holiday as well. He said, so like, if you could do that, yeah, no problem. So I said, like, you know, he said, so if he said, like, use the power arrow with the markers so that you all drive in the same wheelings, he said, like, that would be even better. So I said, yeah, no problem. So, you know, which was the 6 meter per hour. That was the only one that had the markers on. So, you know, no worries. So anyway, he says, "Oh, thanks for everything you did last week and the week before." So I said, "Yeah, no worries." He said, "Just a quick thing." I said, "Yeah." He said, "You know those new fields in Malton that you ploughed?" So I said, "Yeah." So he said, "I think you had your map the wrong way up again." So I said, "Why?" I said, "You've put bloody top on the map anyway." I said, "I can't get it wrong." He said, "Yeah." He said, "About that." So I said, "What?" He said, "You've still got it wrong." I said, "How the hell could I get it wrong?" I said, "Like, it couldn't have been any more bloody clearer." So he said, "Yeah." He said, "That's kind of what the conclusion we came to. It couldn't be any more clearer." So I said, "Exactly." So he said, "Yeah." He said, "What you've actually done is you've ploughed up 4 fields from another farm." I said, "Right." He said, "And they'd drilled them with winter wheat." So he said they were not cultivated fields that you ploughed, they were drilled fields that you ploughed. He said, "It did not look drilled to you?" I said, "Well, no, I never really took note." I said, "I kind of see that the stubble had been sort of knocked over." I said, "And obviously like it was sort of, you know, cultivated." I said, "So therefore I kind of just sort of took it as it was cultivated, you know." And he said, "No," he said, "they were drilled, mate." He said, "Like, that's cost us a lot of money, that has." I was like, "Oh, bloody hell." So I was like, "Oh, I'm really sorry." And I was thinking, like, you know, now I'm going to get a bloody warning, you know, now I'm going to get an official warning. But, you know, literally, he wasn't very happy. And he said, like, "Go off to work, please." And so I went off to work. And the problem, you know, I later found out the reason why, because he wasn't happy, was because he has to then go and explain to his bosses, you know, who own the farm, you know, the people that own the farm, and sort of explain to them that, yes, I've now cost them another, you know, however many, you know, tens of thousands of pounds. So yeah, two occasions where I I ploughed the wrong fields and got in quite a lot of trouble for it. And well, not quite. The first time it was kind of, you know, it was okay. The second time was, yeah, after a day or so, it became a bit of a joke again and what have you. And, you know, sort of people took the mick out of me, and the banter was good with it, you know. Um, should I be all modern? Can I be all modern for just 2 seconds? And the bants was really good between us as guys, you know. I'm sorry, I heard that in a queue the other day, right? There was 2 blokes talking, and I swear you, they were older than me, right? They were quite a bit older than me. They were in their sort of 50s, maybe even sort of their early 60s, right? And they're both right, and we're at racing, right? And the vast majority of the crowd was young kids, right? So, you know, you're sort of talking from mid-teens all the way up to, like, sort of, you know, probably mid-30s, early 40s in my case, right? But these 2 old guys, we're in this section, like I'm in this section, and they somehow it's ended up that they're kind of like the sort of oldest two people in the big group of people that we're in, right? And you can hear all the other kids sort of talking and whatever else, and they're all using sort of kid language and you know, oh that's sick and all that rubbish, right? I don't agree, but it's not my speak, but it's their speak, right? And that's fair enough, because that's what they're growing up with, that's what they're used to, right? No problem. What I don't try and do is copy them. What I don't try and do is sound cool to them, because you don't. You sound and look an idiot, right? Because you're an old person trying to do it their way, right? And just as when we were their age, when old people try to sound cool and do things our way, they look ridiculous, right? So I don't try and join in, and I don't like the sort of slang way of talking that there is now, and I don't like any of that. Right? English language is there and it's proper, and it's like that for a reason, Speak it, right? that's just me, right? So I'm in the queue, right, and I'm behind these two gentlemen, right? We're in the sort of the bar slash sort of food area, right? And I say I'm behind them, and they're talking, right? And they're talking. I think they was talking about nights out or whatever that they'd had with their mates or whatever. And I'm kind of sort of stood there thinking, Jesus Christ, you're a bit old for all this, lads. Because one was going like, oh yeah, we were actually going on a pub crawl, and we were sort of going around, we were getting absolutely blathered, And they were quite posh speaking, and typical sort of, English kind of middle class, I'm better than everyone type people, right? So the other one was going, oh yeah, that's terrific. I bet the bants between you all was like really incredible. And he was going, oh look, it was so amazing. And I'm standing there going, please shoot me right now. I was just like, I wanted to go, what the hell are you two doing? Will you stop talking like that? You sound utterly ridiculous. I'm like, yeah, just sound old and sound normal. My brain can cope with that. It cannot cope with it. And they just like carried it on. And the thing was, the more they were using young people speak, the louder they were speaking to each other. And suddenly other people were now hearing their conversation that I'd been privy to the whole bloody time they'd been having it, right? And people are sort of looking at them and rolling their eyes at them. And I'm kind of like, I'm wanting to go, look, lads, you're embarrassing yourself. Shut up. Just talk normal for you. Oh yeah. No, I said to Terry, I said, oh look, I said, yeah, that new Lamborghini is really sick, isn't it? And I'm like, no, don't do it, please, please don't do it. It's like, and then sort of they would kind of forget the fact that they've been trying to talk young, for the last sort of 20 minutes or so, or whatever it was, and then suddenly they flip back to old speak, It's kind of like, it's kind of like, and I'm like, oh my god, are you two like sort of going through very late midlife crisis, or are you having an identity crisis? Are you ill? Have you got a water infection and it's confusing you or something? What's happening here, guys? And I'm kind of like, sort of stood there anyway. As I say, I was sort of stood there. The bloke behind me was probably in and around my age, I would say, because I sort of looked behind me and he sort of rolled his eyes at me, and I sort of laughed. And then he said to me, he goes, "You just want to slap him, don't you?" I was like, yeah, you do. Very hard. But no, so it was very funny. But no, so when I kind of sort of said that, I was like, oh, the bants between us. I had to do that in sort of honour of those two guys. I had to do that. Another quick question that I wanted to ask you all. So I've made myself a couple of hoodies for me, right, with my channel on, or with sort of pictures from the channel or from series or whatever, and some t-shirts as well, because my little boy absolutely loves my t-shirts, and he loves the fact that, you know, when he goes out, it's like, oh Dad, I want to wear one of your t-shirts, and it's like, it's really good because obviously it's got my channel, you know, sort of link on it as well, so people are able to sort of find, you know, my thingy, and also as well on, and I don't know if it works or not. I have no idea because I don't have a modern day phone, so I have no idea whether this would work or not. But there is a QR code printed on the back of the t-shirt as well, next to the channel link, so that if you actually, the idea is that if you scan the QR code, it should take you to the channel. I'm not sure if that works on print though. I don't know. You know, all you guys out there with modern day phones that are right up on that sort of stuff, let me know. Does it work? I kind of put it on there. It was a bit of a giggle. It's kind of, I knew it was a QR code. I knew, like, you know, do you know what I mean? Like, and I went onto a website that generated the QR code for, you know, the thingy, and yeah. So, but could someone scan like the t-shirts and do it? I don't know. I'm not sure, but yeah, that's kind of what I've done. But yeah, just let me know. Would you guys be interested in them if I could find a way of sort of linking them and putting them up for sale? Because one of the things I'm very conscious about is that I don't want people to think that, you know, I'm sort of kind of, oh, you know, let's make as much money out of everyone as possible. I know people like merch and stuff, you know, I understand that. I like buying merch from, you know, channels that I watch and different things, like, you know, I really like that, you know, and you know, it's really good sort of thing, like, and so I understand that people do like that stuff, but I just sort of don't want to, you know, sort of people to go, oh, that's it, you know, he's gone down, you know, do you know what I mean? Like, you know, if you people are interested, if you guys are interested, then, you know, just let me know in the comments, and then yeah, you know, I'll sort a few out. I'll put a few pictures up, maybe at the end of one of my videos or something, and then you can just kind of message me, sort of, you know, oh, I like that one, and then I'll try and find some way of sort of linking so you can buy it from the YouTube page. I don't know how you would do all of that stuff. It's completely beyond me, but you know, I'm sure there must be a way. You know, sort of other YouTubers are doing it, so why not? But yeah, let me know what you think. You know, if you would like to buy some hoodies, or some t-shirts or whatever. The website that I'm using is I'm only able to do hoodies and t-shirts. They don't have like caps and cups and stuff like that. I don't really know where I would go to do any of that. You know, as I say, like I don't know, as I say, where I would go to do any. Again, if you know websites that do that sort of stuff, let me know. You know, and I can check it out. And if there's something that you want in a specific, you know, sort of style, or if you want it in a pen or a cup or whatever, then I can do it. But yeah, just let me know. Anyway, I am going to leave this video here because we have chatted on now for nearly 45 minutes, and yeah, I'm always terrified that people, you know, will get a bit, you know, sort of fed up or tired of hearing me speak. So I am going to leave not the channel. I'm going to leave the video here. There will still be videos tomorrow, and you know, from as long as I'm capable. So I'm not leaving the channel. Don't worry. Although many people would sort of say that was a good thing, but no, I'm not. Yeah, so as I say, I'm going to leave it here. Thanks ever so much for watching. If you haven't done already, please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Also share the videos wherever you share the videos. That's really helpful, and it's really good, and it helps to spread the word a little bit, and it helps to spread, you know, the channel around a little bit more. So that's all great stuff. And yeah, thanks ever so much for joining me on this video. I've really enjoyed having your company, and I really look forward to seeing you on the next one. Bye for now.